The race in AI semiconductors may no longer be decided inside the GPU alone. Quietly, the battleground is shifting. Not the GPU and not HBM, but the substrate that ties them together. The way I read it, this unglamorous foundation is becoming the main arena of the next land grab. Behind the flashy chips, a quiet scramble for the humble ground beneath them has already begun. Welcome to Semiconductor News Decoded. I'm Ty, with 31 years inside the semiconductor industry, bringing you the real view from the factory floor. Today's theme is glass substrates. Absolix, Samsung Electromechanics, Intel, ASE, TPK, TOPPAN, JNTC. Honestly, just listing the names is enough to make your head spin. But stay with me to the end, and I promise the positions of all these crowded players will click into place as clearly as if you were looking at a single map. Here's today's news in one picture. Imagine a brand new town that has just been founded, a town that does not even have a mayor yet. We'll lean on this new town analogy all the way through the opening section. The zoning is still being drawn. The roads and the shops are yet to be built. Nobody has claimed the prime real estate. And right now, all kinds of people are arriving, eyeing the best lots in this frontier town. Now, right next door to this new town, there is a big, fully built city. It is bustling with people and shops, and everyone says if you need anything in this region, that city has it all. For now, the undisputed leader of the area is that neighboring city. But here is the important part. The prime lots in the brand new frontier town still belong to no one. What makes this interesting is that the newcomers are all coming in through different gates. One person aims to run the wholesale business for building materials. Another opens a branch using the know-how from shops they ran in a different town. Someone else drew the first master plan and waved the flag. And then there are the construction pros who actually put up the buildings. Their targets and their tools are all completely different. And today's main characters are a duo. One is a craftsman who can cut and shape a huge single sheet of glass without ever breaking it. The other is a professional who takes that sheet and finishes the shop's interior and wiring to a polished standard. These two have now joined hands. Neither one can complete a shop alone. Only when the person who can work the glass teams up with the person who can turn it into a finished product do you get a lot that is truly ready to sell. And do not forget one thing. The seat of this town's leader is still vacant. Yes, the boss of the neighboring city is powerful. That much is fact. But the new town belongs to no one yet. That is exactly why everyone is rushing in at once to stake out their ground. From here, let me walk you through what this actually looks like in the real semiconductor industry. Now for the actual news. According to a DigiTimes report dated July 18, 2026, JNTC of South Korea and TOPPAN of Japan have teamed up on glass substrates for AI semiconductors. The two companies signed an agreement in July, and they will jointly verify the performance and mass production readiness of TGV glass substrates, targeting volume production in 2027. To be fair, this timeline is a plan based on the company's own announcement.
So why glass in the first place? The advanced packages that connect AI chips with HBM keep getting larger and larger. As they grow, conventional organic substrates start to show real limits. Signal loss, warpage, and dimensional stability all become visible problems. Glass, on the other hand, stays dimensionally stable, loses less signal, and suits fine wiring patterns. That is why it is drawing attention as a leading candidate for the next generation.
Let's also pin down who these two companies are. JNTC is a South Korean firm with glass processing technology built up through products like smartphone cover glass. TOPPAN may sound like just a printing company, but in the semiconductor field, it is a Japanese player that handles photomasks and package substrates. One side processes the glass, the other side builds the substrates. It is a pairing of two companies with clearly different strengths. And this leads straight into today's key point. The supply constraints in AI semiconductors are no longer just a GPU and HBM story. CoWoS, interposers, ABF substrates, and now glass substrates. The bottlenecks are spreading into back-end materials and substrates as well.
The way I see it, this news is a symbol of exactly that widening squeeze.
Now for my own take. First, the conclusion. In today's advanced packaging for AI and HBM, the strongest player is TSMC. But be careful, that does not mean TSMC is strong in glass substrates. It means TSMC is overwhelming in real volume production centered on CoWoS. Glass substrates themselves are still a market with no crowned champion. Today's king is TSMC, but the throne of glass substrates sits empty. Look at the industry through this lens, and each company's moves suddenly become much easier to organize. Each company is attacking from a different gate. Aiming at volume production of the glass substrate itself are Absolix and Samsung Electromechanics. Absolix, under the SKC group, is close to a dedicated first mover. Samsung Electromechanics is trying to extend its strength in FCBGA substrates into glass cores. Intel is the flag bearer that laid out a roadmap early on, and ASE, as an OSAT, stands ready with the power to bring advanced packaging into actual mass production. A good example in this flow is the collaboration between TPK and ASE. Its axis is a pilot line for TGV glass substrates. TPK has spent years handling large glass sheets for touch panels, so it knows how to move big glass around without breaking it. Combine that with ASE's mass production packaging muscle. One note here, the panel-level packaging line that ASE announced separately, sized at 310 millimeters square, is a different initiative built around resin molding and RDL. Please keep those two stories separate in your mind. So what about JNTC this time? If you see it as just a cover glass company, you are missing the picture. Its strength is that it can combine, largely in-house, its glass processing, the plating technology from its connector business, and the equipment technology of its affiliated companies. That is how a latecomer managed to step into TGV. According to the company, it holds a thickness portfolio from 0.3 millimeters up to 2.0 millimeters. The 2 millimeter product is made from a single sheet rather than by bonding layers together, and mass production yield reaches up to 94%. These are the company's own figures, so a grain of salt is in order. But the drive to push TGV from the research stage into actual production comes through loud and clear. Its partner, TOPPAN, is no ordinary printing company either. It holds photomasks, package substrates, and fine patterning technology. On top of that, TOPPAN has announced that an R&D pilot line for next-generation packaging will start operating at its Ishikawa plant in July 2026, covering organic RDL interposers, glass interposers, and glass cores. Right as its own line comes to life, it has secured an outside supply source for TGV glass substrates. That is why I believe the July timing of this agreement carries real meaning. Let's put it all together. JNTC brings the glass processing, TGV, plating, and equipment side. TOPPAN brings the package substrates, fine patterning, and production verification side. Together, they are trying to move TGV glass substrates beyond materials and prototypes and closer to commercial use as advanced package substrates for AI and HBM. It really is the glass craftsman and the finishing pro joining hands. That said, this is not a story of replacing CoWoS overnight. The context is that as AI chips grow larger, the substrate side needs new options too. The moves by India that I covered before also sit on this very same map. India is still a latecomer, both in production track record and in its supply chain, but the theme it is chasing is the cutting edge itself. Precisely because catching up with the frontrunners in front-end processing is so difficult, India is planting its national flag in back-end packaging and glass substrates, where no champion has been crowned. I see it as quite a bold, aggressive move. And then there is the view from Japan. A Japanese company like TOPPAN is right in the middle of this land grab. Glass substrates are a field where companies with different strengths, materials, substrates, packaging, equipment, inspection, can each enter through their own gate. Flip that around, and it means Japan has real entry points of its own. How Japan makes use of them is, to me, one of the most interesting things to watch from here on. Let me wrap up. Today's story is not that JNTC and TOPPAN have already won. In glass substrates, the throne is still empty. But one thing has become very clear.
The next bottleneck in AI semiconductors is spreading from GPUs and HBM towards substrates and packaging. The next battleground is shifting to next-generation package substrates, including glass. So this partnership deserves to be seen not merely as a Japan-Korea alliance, but as the next land grab in the AI semiconductor supply chain.
That's all for today. I'll keep bringing you semiconductor news and analysis, so if you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been Ty on Semiconductor News Decoded.